The first dance started, and Christine, the maid of honor, beamed. But when Tyler looked down at Michelle and smiled, something inside Christine froze. She saw a left side dimple, the eye crinkle, a scar above the eyebrow, all matching her father.
That smile. It's Dad's. The dimple. The scar. How is that possible?
Christine sank into a chair, bouquet pressed to her chest, gaze locked on the dance floor.
Even the hand shape. The head tilt. I've seen that gesture forever.
Michelle mouthed from the floor, "You okay?" Christine forced a nod, but her face betrayed her.
A stranger wearing my father's smile. It's impossible, but it's unfolding right in front of me.
The band played, guests swayed, and no one else saw the invisible thread now strangling Christine's certainty. She stayed seated through the rest of the song. Laughter, clinking glasses blurred. Only that smile remained sharp. When the music ended, she knew. That smile was a ghost she'd known all her life, and she had no plan for what came next. Later, alone in her apartment, Christine couldn't shake the image of that smile. The wedding program lay crumpled on the coffee table. She pulled out an old photo album. There they were, she and Michelle at 8, 9, 13, always laughing.
We promised we'd be in each other's weddings. I never imagined I'd discover something like this.
She scrolled through Tyler's social media. The last photo of him and Michelle, happy. She'd missed so much. The first time they met was a rushed dinner. Tyler had smiled warmly, but she'd been too distracted to notice the dimple. The second time, at their engagement party, she'd congratulated them and moved on. She hadn't studied his face.
But now, I can't unsee it. The dimple, the scar, even the hands, identical to Dad's.
She retrieved a photo of her father from her desk. Same crinkle around the eyes, same scar above the brow.
I can't say a word to Michelle yet. I need to know the truth first.
She closed the album. The wedding was over, but her investigation was just beginning. A few days later, Christine let herself into her father's house while he was at work. The study smelled of leather and old paper. She'd always known about the locked box in the bottom drawer. Today, the key was in the desk lamp base, right where her father always hid it. Inside, letters tied with a satin ribbon. A faded sheet dated October 1992, addressed to Edward from someone named Carol. "I never wanted to tell you like this, but I'm pregnant. They're transferring me to the Atlanta office next month."
Atlanta, 1992. Tyler was born in 1993. The math lines up too neatly.
She sank into her father's chair, the letter trembling in her hands, the full weight of the secret pressing down.
So Dad did have an affair, and Carol moved away pregnant. He never knew.
She read the rest of the letters, piecing together a brief romance that ended with silence. Christine photographed each page with her phone, then carefully replaced everything, leaving no trace. She left the house with a name, a date, and a new urgency. Carol. Now she had a real trail to follow. At home, Christine searched online until an obituary surfaced. Carol's late husband had a stepson named Tyler, adopted at birth. Adopted. The word sat in her stomach like a stone. There was no biological connection to the man who raised him.
I need physical proof. A DNA sample from Tyler without him ever knowing.
She opened a chat and typed, "Hey, I've always loved architecture. Could I pick your brain over lunch next week?" Tyler's reply appeared in seconds. "I'd love to. How about Thursday at the Oak Street Cafe?"
He answered so fast. So genuine. And here I am, planning a secret test on my best friend's husband.
That evening, she ordered an Ancestry DNA kit online. The confirmation email felt like a pact with the truth.
If I am wrong, I risk looking crazy. If I am right, I change everything. Either way, no turning back.
On Thursday, she drove to the cafe with the DNA swab tucked in her purse, rehearsing casual conversation. She arrived early, chose a corner table, and ordered coffee. The cafe buzzed lightly, but her heart pounded. Tyler walked in, spotted her, and smiled that same smile she'd seen at the wedding. She stood, her stomach tightening. They sat down with coffee. The talk was easy. Work, hobbies, the honeymoon, but Christine's mind was elsewhere.
So what got you into architecture? I never knew you had that passion.
I guess I've always been curious about how spaces tell stories. But honestly, I am a total amateur. Stories. I am here to uncover one, and I hate the dishonest part of this.
When Tyler excused himself to the restroom, Christine pulled the DNA kit from her purse. The envelope felt heavier than it should. She unscrewed the tube and swirled the cotton tip around the rim of his coffee cup. She sealed the tube and slipped it into her bag. Just then, Tyler's voice came from behind. After lunch, she drove straight to the post office and dropped the envelope into the slot. The waiting had begun. Christine stood there, the postal receipt proof of her secret, and faced the longest wait of her life. Every evening, Christine refreshed the DNA portal. The status bar never moved, but her anxiety spiked each time.
This waiting is turning me into someone I don't recognize. A liar, a snoop, a stranger to my best friend.
She canceled dinner with Michelle twice, claiming work deadlines. The excuses felt transparent.
You've been so quiet since the wedding. Is everything okay?
Just a lot going on. I am fine, really. I almost told her. The words were right there. Michelle, I think Tyler is my brother.
That night, she dreamed of the wedding, Tyler's smile, her father's, then both faces merging into one distorted shape. She woke at 3 a.m., breathing hard, and checked her phone. Still no results. On the 10th day, she opened her laptop to find the portal status had flipped. Results ready. Her hand hovered over the trackpad, trembling. She didn't click, not yet. She needed to face this alone. Christine clicked. The page loaded, and there at the top, in sterile black text, was the verdict. Predicted relationship. Half-sibling. Shared DNA. 25%. Confidence. Greater than 99%.
Tyler. My best friend's husband is my brother. The thought carved a hole in my stomach.
She pressed her hand to her mouth, muffling a sound that was half gasp, half sob. Faust sob. The letters on the screen swam.
Everything fits. Now, the dimple, the scar, the letters, but none of it feels like closure.
Christine shoved back from the desk, the chair legs scraping. She needed air, space, anything but that screen. She stood at the window, staring at the dark street, her reflection a ghost in the glass.
I can't unknow this. I can't unsee it. And soon, I'll have to decide who to hurt with it.
Finally, she returned to the desk and shut the laptop with a soft click. The room fell silent. Christine sat in the dark, the weight of a hidden brother settling onto her shoulders. She had no idea what came next. For 2 weeks, Christine moved through her days like a ghost, the DNA report a constant weight in her bag.
I keep asking myself, did Dad ever know? Or is he as clueless as I was a month ago?
On a rainy Saturday, she drove to her father's house, rehearsing a casual question about old colleagues.
Carol. Sure. I remember her. She was a paralegal at the firm years ago. Left for Atlanta, I think.
He said it without flinch, without guilt, just a pleasant memory. The pregnancy had never reached him.
He has no idea. Tyler exists, and the man who should know doesn't. Now, I carry the secret alone.
That evening, Christine sat staring at her phone. Michelle's name glowed on the screen. Her thumb hovered.
Telling Michelle first is the only way. She deserves to hear it from me, not to stumble on it later. Michelle, I need to see you. It's important. Can I come over Sunday?
Michelle agreed, her voice light, unsuspecting. Christine hung up and felt the ground shift beneath her. Sunday afternoon, Christine stood on Michelle's doorstep, the DNA report folded in her coat pocket. The door swung open.
You look like you haven't slept in weeks. Come in.
Michelle, I need to tell you something. Something I've been carrying since your wedding. You might want to sit down.
Christine unfolded the DNA report and set it in front of Michelle. The words half-sibling stared up like a verdict.
This can't be right, Tyler. He's your brother? That would mean your father is...
I found old letters between Dad and a woman named Carol. He didn't know she was pregnant. I tested his DNA secretly. I am so sorry.
Michelle's face crumbled. She pressed both hands to her mouth, a sob escaping between her fingers. For a long moment, neither spoke. The clock on the wall ticked. Then Michelle lowered her hands, voice raw.
Christine, please. Let me tell him. I need to be the one. He deserves to hear it from me first.
Christine nodded, eyes wet. They stood and wrapped their arms around each other, two bodies shaking with the weight of a secret that wasn't theirs alone. That evening, Michelle sat beside Tyler on their couch, the DNA report resting on the coffee table. She took his hand.
Tyler, there's something I found out today that changes everything I thought I knew about our families.
She told him slowly about Christine's recognition at the wedding, the letters, the hidden test. His smile, her father's ghost.
Christine, my sister? The DNA says that? I don't know what to say.
He stared at the report, minutes passing. Then he spoke again, voice quiet but steady.
I always knew I was adopted. Mom, Carol, told me when I was 10. I've wondered about my biological father my whole life.
Michelle watched him, braced for anger or denial, but found only a deep, steady calm.
You don't blame anyone. Carol gave me a good life, but Christine's father, our father, he's alive? I want to meet him.
Christine said she'd help. She's been carrying this alone for weeks. She'll set up a meeting.
Tyler pulled Michelle close, the report between them now just paper. Then he reached for his phone to call Christine. Christine let herself into her father's study. He looked up, surprised, as she placed a folder and a photo on the desk.
Dad, I found something that's going to be hard to hear. It's about a woman named Carol, and a son you never knew you had.
Edward opened the folder. Inside was the DNA report, and a printed photo of Tyler, smiling with his dimple and scar clearly visible.
Carol, I never knew. She never told me. This young man, he's my son.
I tested my DNA against his. The match is 99%. Tyler is your son. He's my half-brother.
Edward's composure shattered. He pressed both hands over his face, shoulders shaking with silent sobs.
I have a son, and I abandoned him without ever knowing. Does he hate me?
Christine knelt beside him, her own eyes wet. She told him Tyler wanted to meet.
When? Where? I'll do anything to make this right.
They set a date at a Charlotte hotel for 2 weeks later. Edward stared at Tyler's photo, a face he'd never known, but would now meet. Edward arrived at the Charlotte Hotel restaurant 2 hours early, unable to sit still. When Tyler walked in with Christine, Edward stood, hands trembling. The two men locked eyes, searching. They sat at a polished table. For an agonizing minute, neither spoke. The clinking of glasses from the bar filled the void.
Tyler, I have no excuse. I didn't know. I am so sorry. I wasn't there for you.
I am not looking for an apology. I had a good life. I just wanted to meet you.
Edward wept openly, the weight of 3 decades spilling out. Tyler covered his hand without a word.
Through the tablet, Carol's voice came, gentle and frayed. I should have told you, Edward. I am sorry.
For 4 hours, they talked, sharing childhoods, the wedding, Carol's memories, discovering the dimple that connected them.
We can't recover the past, but we can start now. Let's not let another year go by.
Edward nodded, a fragile peace settling between them. They walked out together, no longer strangers. Over the next month, Edward and Tyler met twice more. Christine joined them at a park, and for the first time, she wasn't observing, she was participating.
Their humor is identical. That wry, self-deprecating tone Dad uses. It's like hearing a familiar song in a different key.
That evening, Michelle came over. She looked lighter than she had since the wedding.
I was so terrified when you told me. But seeing Tyler with Edward, it's like a missing piece fell into place.
For weeks, I felt like I detonated something. Now I just feel like I have a brother.
She started texting Tyler daily about work, about dad, about nothing. The distance shrank with every exchanged message. At a family dinner, Edward watched Christine and Tyler argue affectionately over a board game, and he smiled through tears. Tyler sent her a photo of his latest architectural model. Attached note, thought of you when I designed the central courtyard.
I used to think secrets always destroy. But this one rebuilt a family that never knew it was broken.
By autumn, Christine couldn't remember life without Tyler. The dimple that had frozen her now brought a smile. 2 years later, the living room glowed with candlelight and laughter. Edward's 70th birthday had drawn the full family, 5 people who once were strangers.
Dad, 2 years ago I discovered something that could have shattered us. Instead, it gave me a brother and completed our family.
And I found a sister, a father, and a belonging I'd always wondered about, but never dared to hope for.
They touched glasses, a soft clink, and the room exhaled. A secret that began in horror had become the centerpiece of a toast.
I never knew I was missing a son, and yet here you are. I am the luckiest man alive to have both of you.
Teen set down her glass and wrapped her father in a long embrace, tears streaming down both their faces.
I spent 30 years regretting the silence. Today, I can finally let it go.
The cake was cut, the candles flickered out, but the warmth in that room refused to dim. They gathered for a photo. Edward, flanked by his 2 children, their partners, and Carol beside them, a family portrait that should have been impossible. Edward raised his glass one more time, his voice steady now. To the family I never knew I had, and the daughter who brought them home. 2 years later, Thanksgiving arrived at Christine's home. The house smelled of sage and roasting turkey. Carol arrived first, a pumpkin pie in hand, her smile easy now. Everyone helped set the table. Tyler folded napkins, Michelle arranged flowers, Edward polished the old glasses. They joined hands around the table. Edward's voice, rough with emotion, offered grace.
For the family we found, for the silence we broke, and for the love that held us together.
Plates passed, laughter rippled, and for a moment, Christine sat back and simply watched.
3 years ago, I stared at a stranger's smile and thought I was losing my mind. Today, I am surrounded by family.
I never imagined I'd be here, breaking bread with Edward and our children. Life is strange and beautiful.
Tyler raised a glass, catching Christine's eye with that same dimple she'd once feared. They smiled. No words needed. The 5 who didn't know each other 3 years ago broke bread, a family remade not by blood alone, but by the courage to face the truth. The dishes were cleared, and Christine found herself alone on the porch, the laughter still carrying through the window.
2 years ago, a smile almost undid me. Now it's the first thing I look for at every family gathering.
Inside, Tyler and Michelle were stacking plates, their easy rhythm a quiet testament that their marriage had never faltered. Edward and Carol sat by the fire, her hand resting on his. The decades of silence had finally softened into something close to peace.
Not every secret leads to ruin. Some, like this one, crack open a door that never should have been closed.
Tyler noticed her standing in the cold and walked out, draping a blanket over her shoulders. No words, just the dimple.
Remember the first time you sent me a picture of a building and said you thought of me?
And you replied that if I ever built it, you'd dance in the courtyard. I am still holding you to that.
Michelle appeared at the door, phone in hand. You two look like you are plotting something. Get back inside. The pie is getting cold. Christine stood, the blanket still around her, and walked back into the light with her brother. The 5 sat down once more, a family remade. Long after the last car pulled away, Christine sat alone at the cleared table, a single candle still flickering. She rose and moved to the hallway closet, pulling down a shoebox labeled Keep. Inside, the original DNA report. The black text still read half-sibling. But now, instead of a verdict, it felt like a birth certificate for a new family.
I used to hide this in my coat, terrified someone would find it. Now, I'll frame it.
Beside it, a photo from Edward's birthday, the 5 of them, laughter frozen in time.
3 years ago, a dimple nearly broke me. Today, it's the thread that sewed us together.
She placed the report and photo back in the box, then added the wedding program, now yellowed. A collection of impossible days. She closed the lid and whispered, "Thank you, Carol, for the silence and for the truth that followed." The house, now quiet, felt full. A family conceived in secrecy had found its home in openness, and Christine, once frozen by a stranger's smile, now slept soundly, dreaming of a courtners where she would one day dance. Years later, on a crisp spring morning, the 5 gathered at the new community center, a building Tyler had designed with a central courtyard.
The courtyard he once sketched on a napkin now stood real, and I was here to dance in it.
I told you I'd build it, and I told you you'd dance here.
They stood on the smooth stone, sunlight catching the dimple on Tyler's face, the same dimple that had once stopped Christine's heart.
I remember the exact moment I saw your smile at the wedding. It was like looking in a mirror of Dad.
That smile. It's the best mistake I never made.
A bronze plaque on the wall read, "Harper Family Courtyard," built on a truth once hidden, now celebrated.
DNA didn't just confirm a brother. It gave me a partner in dancing through life.
They danced, the 5 of them, across the courtyard as the sun set, a family woven from secrets and grace, and that smile, once a haunting ghost, became the beacon that led them home. On the wedding anniversary, Christine and Tyler returned to the reception hall, now empty, the string lights long gone.
This is where I first really smiled at Michelle, isn't it? The moment you saw something strange.
I nearly fell out of my chair. Your smile was my father's, and my whole world tilted. But now, standing here with you, I wouldn't trade that moment for anything.
A single smile turned into a whole new family. Biology gave us the dimple. Time gave us the bond.
They walked across the floor where Michelle had once danced, where Christine had sat frozen, and where the first thread of a secret had unraveled.
I used to think secrets always destroy, but this one rebuilt a family from the ground up.
She pulled out her phone and showed Tyler the photo she had snapped that night. His face mid-smile, the dimple undeniably Edward's.
You kept it. I look so unaware and so happy.
They stood in the silence, not as maid of honor and groom, but as sister and brother, bound by a smile that once broke a heart and then healed it. 3 years later, Christine and Tyler sat on a stage, a local magazine's article, between them, titled, "The Dimple That Rewrote Our Family." People in the audience leaned forward as Christine described that wedding moment, the frozen maid of honor, the impossible smile.
I could have buried the truth, but instead I chased it, and that chase gave me a brother.
I was adopted, happy, complete. Then I learned I had a sister, and it was like finding a mirror I didn't know was missing.
Edward and Carol sat in the front row, hands intertwined, tears carving paths down their cheeks. After the talk, a teenager approached Christine, holding a photo of her own father. "I think I see a resemblance too," she whispered.
Follow that instinct. The truth, even when it's messy, can be the most healing thing.
Outside, the 5 gathered under a magnolia tree for a photo, the tree Carol had planted the year after the wedding. Michelle fixed Tyler's collar, Carol straightened Edward's tie, and Christine watched them. No longer a maid of honor, but a daughter who had expanded her family. The shutter clicked, and in that frame a secret became a legacy, a smile that no longer haunted, but illuminated. Later that evening, Christine stood on her porch, the family photo glowing on her phone's screen. a soft smile on her lips.
That wedding night feels like a lifetime ago, and yet the chill of that moment is still somewhere inside me.
She scrolled to the photo of Tyler, mid-smile, the dimple that had started everything.
A lifetime of fear, then a lifetime of love. That dimple once froze me. Now it keeps me warm.
Inside, the house was full of soft laughter. Tyler washing dishes with Michelle, Edward and Carol playing cards. She walked inside, and as she did, Tyler looked up and smiled. The same smile, but now it meant home. The five gathered around the table one last time, cups of coffee steaming.
To the dimple that started it all, and the family it unearthed.
They laughed, clinked mugs, and the kitchen filled with the sound of a family that had learned joy could grow from secrets. And as the night folded around them, Christine looked across the table at Tyler's smile. Once a haunting ghost, now the thread that stitched their worlds together. In the years that followed, Christine often visited the little courtyard Tyler had built. It became her favorite place to think.
Every time I see that dimple on a stranger, I no longer panic. I just smile.
She'd sit and watch children play, and sometimes a little boy with a familiar dimple would laugh, and she'd laugh too.
DNA didn't just give me a brother. It taught me that the scariest moments can lead to the greatest gifts.
One afternoon, Tyler found her there. He sat beside her without a word, that dimple appearing as he smiled.
Still thinking about that wedding.
Always. But now, it's the good kind of thinking.
They sat in comfortable silence, the courtyard around them alive with the hum of the neighborhood. When the sun began to set, they stood, and Tyler offered his arm. "Time to go home, sister." And as they walked, the dimple that had once frozen a heart now stitched two lives together, a quiet testament that some secrets bloom into the most unexpected families.